Hey guys, so tonight on Grind Call, me and Jaqcee are going to be hosting, and I just wanted to introduce myself if you don't know who I am. My name's Kasey Taylor. As my full-time job, I am a crop claims specialist, so I work with farmers around the western side of the US. So now I work full-time from home. I used to travel all the time, but I actually tried our 3 steps back in like 2015, but I didn't actually know what it was. Like I wasn't really told what it does and how it could help my health. So I never stuck with it. And then in like 2020, I started taking our supplement balance, and that's about it. And then last September, I was following Laurel for about 6 months from like February to September. And I signed on, and it's been history since. I'm never leaving. This is my home, and just want to introduce myself a little bit. And now Jaqcee can tell you a little about herself.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay, good. So, hi, I'm Jaqcee. I work at a grain elevator full time. I'm the feed sales lady and also the bookkeeper. So, I put in pretty long days, like a day to day. I put in about 10 to 12 hours at the elevator. And yeah, so it's quite a bit. And I've been thriving for a little over a year. And I started under one of my friends, and she actually decided to not run the business anymore. So Laurel and Bobby kind of swept me under their wing, and I'm not leaving. So, yeah.
Okay, so what we want to talk about tonight, why we call it things to remember when times change, is because we all go through different seasons in our lives. We go through it at different times. But also, a fun fact, I actually knew Jaqcee's brother before I knew her. So I actually knew her before Lavelle. And she is from the small town of Circle, Montana, where my husband is from. So there's a fun fact. But what I wanted to start with is that everybody else's success is not your own. And I never want anybody to think that you have to compare yourself to others. But don't get me wrong, we all do it. I'm like, there's still some days where I catch myself and I'm like, you know what? I'm in that negative mind space again, and I just need to come out of it. So we have 5 points and things that we want to talk about tonight. And the first is what I always say is we can help each other be successful, but we are not each other's success. And what I mean by that is just because you might have someone who you signed up as a promoter, you thought they were going to run with you, and then all of a sudden they step back from the business. What I'm getting at is just because they step back doesn't mean that you should stop doing what you want to do. Like, it's your dream, it's not theirs. And at the end of the day, do what makes your heart happy, what makes you smile. And if it's this community, then show up for yourself. So that's our first topic. Is I just want you to know that your success is not someone else's. And now Jaqcee's going to talk about hers.
Okay, so my first topic is consistency. And so being consistent always looks different for everyone. Some people could be posting every day. Some people could be just like talking to customers like I do on a daily basis. Since I'm a feed sales lady, I literally wear my patch where people can see it, and they are so curious that they're like, "What's that on your uh, arm?" They're like, "Oh, is that a nicotine patch?" Which you guys got to realize, I work on the res, so it's totally different world up here. So, but even like with my epic tan line, everyone's like, "Where'd you get that from?" And then so posting every day, it doesn't have to be. It's just how you want to work your business. You can either do it on social media or you can do it in person. And you really just have to be open and willing to talk about the products or the business with uh, whoever is asking, whether it's in your DMs or in person. So
All right. So then even to piggyback off of that, I was talking about like comparing yourself to others, but our number three, number one is about success. We can help each other be successful, but we are not each other's success. Number two is Jaqcee, consistency even when you don't post. And number three now is opinions of others. So what I want to talk about with that is if I wouldn't have started when I did, I had a lot of different opinions. No one really knew about what Thrive was. And of course, it's Lavelle, but a lot of people know about it as Thrive, what we do. And I got a lot of people saying, you can't do that. You've never done network marketing. You need to find someone or like a group of women that are more like you. And you know what, really, like I almost got to that point of like, I just can't do this. And so why I think that this topic is important too is if you base what you want to do in your life off the opinions of others, you're never going to reach your goals. You're never going to reach a dream. And the thing is, here, I now know that dreams can become reality. Like, you don't have to keep that a dream. If you know that you can become successful in something, like even what I did is I started in the medical field in college. Not a lot of people know that. And then all of a sudden I'm in crop insurance. Like, who knew at 22 years old I'd be in crop insurance? Like, I didn't know that. Now I'm 28. But all I want to say is just at the end of the day, don't base your goals off of someone else's. Someone might be higher up in the company than you. Don't make your mind think, well, I could never be that. And what I always look at the end of the day, do they pay your bills? No, they don't. It's like, yeah, I didn't start this for an extra income, but the money is really nice, like to help financially help our family. And so I just wanted to talk about that because I almost didn't start this because I thought that I couldn't do it because I was listening to what others thought about our company. And if I wouldn't have done this, it has completely changed my life. So that's the third topic is just do not base yourself off of other people's opinions.
Okay, so our next topic is kind of focusing on our customers and promoters. And the biggest thing that we always have to remember is that strangers will more likely become customers or work the business before friends or family, because friends and family just are really hard to persuade with that kind of stuff. And it really sucks, but it's the truth. Yeah, it's just easier to persuade strangers that you create relationships because you're talking about that product and they're wanting to meet their goals and whatnot. And family and friends more likely will just either hop on the bandwagon much later or they never will. And then you are the product of your choices, not your circumstances. So you can dwell on not enrolling family members, which is a circumstance, or you can choose to create new relations with people who potentially will order and work the business with you. So that would be your choices on going after strangers rather than dwelling on not having friends and family support you.
All right. And to piggyback off of that too, is it is at the end of the day, it's building relationships. And like Jaqcee said, just because you're not posting every day, it doesn't mean that like people aren't watching you, like ones that you see in person. And like what I've noticed, I've almost been thriving for 10 months, or September will be a year. Now is when it's not a quick fix. Like I know people say that about like weight loss and stuff, but like your journey too, like it takes time. Now that I've been thriving for 10 months, I'll get random messages from people that I know have watched my stories since the day that I started. And just because it took them 10 months doesn't mean that they weren't interested. It's just because they saw how consistent I was. So yes, you don't have to post every day, but they do see you, like she's taking her vitamins. Like these products really do work. I saw one of our side sister, Kaylee, posted on her story today. She was saying that someone thought, well, the DFT doesn't work. It's just on, a piece of plastic. Like your body doesn't really absorb it. So Kaylee actually sat it out on her counter off the plastic for like 2 days or something like that. And she's like, see, like you can see that it changes colors. It changes like when it's actually getting absorbed into our body. Like it's not just like fake. It's not. And I was skeptical. So anyways, the fourth thing that we wanted to talk about is at the end of the day, remember your why. On those hard days when you want to give up, don't get me wrong, I have been there. There's some times where it's like you get sick or you're really busy with your job. I mean, there's some days I have a 1-year-old and I key one claim when I could do 10. And it's like, I got to remember that in between that time, like when I'm printing off papers, I'm posting all my stories about what I do with Lavelle. Like you have to make time in the pockets of your day that work for you. Just because Jaqcee works her business at 5 a.m. in the morning doesn't mean that I have to do that. Like I could work mine at 5 p.m. at night. But like just remember your why. Remember why you started in the beginning. And just truly don't forget why you're here, because you're not alone. So now we'll lead on to our last topic.
Okay, so our last topic is just be you. You want to be your authentic self. You don't want to be just a Lavelle billboard, and because that's what their Facebook page and their Instagram is to be the graphics for us. And then, so with being your authentic self, like myself, I try and show like when I wake up super early, because I do wake up super early. Like starting my day, it starts at 4:30 in the morning, and I get so many messages about, why are you up that early? So, and then another thing is like make messes while you're making a shake. We aren't just like a pretty billboard. And then you don't have to share everything about your life. You do need to set boundaries on it. I know, like with me, I'm more of a private person, so like working this business is very hard with sharing stuff, but I've gotten a lot better. Laurel probably can attest to that. But yeah, you really need to set boundaries with this business, because you don't want to be like a complete open book for everyone to know on your social media page. If they want to ask you like in your DMs, that's fine, but that's when you can kind of go over whether or not you want to like actually tell that person or not. And then, so I heard this on my podcast coming up to work this morning, and it really resonated with me and with this whole topic that we're going on. So going through seasons, which instead of going through, we should put growing through seasons. You also have to be okay with evolving and changing, but also have to be okay with people not supporting your changes. Being your authentic self, you are owning those changes while building a life that feels aligned. Don't center your life. Oh, don't cater, not center. Cater your life to people you're scared of or letting down or disappointing. So I thought that was pretty great. If you guys want to listen to that podcast, I will drop it in the chat, but it's the Empower Her podcast, and I absolutely love it. If you like listening to podcasts and you're on the fly all the time, they're only like 30 minutes long. So great, powerful messages in a short amount of time.
Okay. I also just wanted to talk about too is at the end of the day, again, keep your doors. I know everybody always says, but like keep your mind open to new opportunities, because every day comes something new. Like just because you might start your day off right, what if you get one bad message from, I don't know, a person that you thought would be interested in thriving, and then they end up not wanting to. And it's like, you can't let that one person affect your day. And it said you've been signed out. Can you still hear me?
Mm-hmm.
That's weird. It said you've been signed out. Oh, but anyways, on one of our calls, I think it was on T for 2. Dang it, I just lost my, oh, shucks, that sucks. Sorry, just lost what I was going to say. It was really good. But I'll move on to the next one. You can make, like, ask yourself questions. So like there's when you go to like add a new Instagram story, you can actually ask your own questions. Even though you say like ask me anything by somebody, ask your own questions. If no one responds to that post, put something in there like, what made you thrive? Do you really make money? Like there's really questions like that I've got messages and it's like, do you really make good money there? And it's like, yeah, we do. And that's the like following off of what Jaqcee said, be yourself. But like it's not lying. Makes those sample videos, show that you have 5 samples to give out. If you only gave out 3, say here, now they're gone, I have 5 more. Like it interests people to see like, well, her samples are going out like crazy. And they've talked about that on our calls. But also remember, with these calls too, they're optional. Just because you might not be able to make one this week, don't just have instantly in your mind that you can't make it next week. Like they're optional. Make time for these. If you know that next week you can make it, because I feel like sometimes we do that. Like I don't make it on a lot of our what's called MMM calls, but like I should. Like there's some days, where I don't have morning meetings with my full-time job. So that's just what I wanted to say is don't like call yourself out like, oh, I can't make Monday grind this week, so I won't make it next week. Like don't say that ahead of time. Like try to make these calls, and if you can't, listen to the replays. But I just also want to say that I do everything from my phone. I only have a work computer, and for security purposes, I can't get on there like for personal use. And so, obviously someday maybe I'll have an iPad computer to do our business off of, but I just wanted to let you know that I do everything from my phone. And so, don't think that like you can't do what we do because, maybe someone has an iPad or they have a computer. I just wanted to let you know that, yeah, I do everything from my phone. So, other than that, if you have any questions, you can always message any of us. And that's what I wanted you to know, if there's any new gals listening or they listen to the replay, that we have so many resources out there. And to just remind everybody else too, if you've forgotten about all of our Facebook pages, Catch the Fire is for potential promoters. So if you have someone that's interested in the business, you will want to plug them into Catch the Fire. So we also have what's called Results on Fire. So again, these are all Facebook pages, and that is for customers. It can be active customers, ones that you've already signed up, or ones that are a potential customer. You can add them to Results on Fire. Grace on Fire, that is our upline, Courtney. We call her KG, but that is her page, and they'll go live in there. We have like lunchtime with a leader. There's just a lot of resources to utilize in Grace on Fire. And then last, we have Relentless Ambition. That's Ryan, another one of our uplines. And we also have resources to utilize in there. They have guides and just anything. If you have any questions, also take time to dig into your back office. When I did that when I was new, like I still till this day, I don't know everything, but know your product so that when someone's asking you questions, you know what to like, oh, balance would be great for them. Like when you don't know your products, or if you're talking on your stories and you don't sound passionate about what you do, people won't relate to you because they'll just see that like you don't like what you do, you don't know about what you do. and so that's what I just want to end it with, is make sure to know what you're doing with our job and know your products. And if you have questions, ask anybody. Only follow certain people that you might resonate most with on like Instagram or Facebook, because you don't want to follow every leader unless you can't really find your own groove in this business. So that's just what I wanted to end it with. If you have anything, Jaqcee, you can say yes or no.
So with the resources, if you get tired of looking at your phone in the back office, they do. You can download the PDFs and print them off and put them in a binder. So then you can just flip through and do that and not have, because I'm more of a book person rather than a scrolling person. So that's what I like to do.
Okay, well, that sounds great. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And other than that, I think we'll let you go. So does anybody else have anything to say? I can't see anybody's faces, but besides Jaqcee's, but I hope you guys have a good night. I hope that we helped you with something. And like I said, reach out to any of us. You're not alone in this business. So have a great night. We love you all.